Right, I think I'm possibly in now, finally. Yeah. All right, after an hour, close to an close to an hour and a half, I'm finally in. Yep, it looks like I'm finally in. So this is my second day live streaming. I just sat here for over an hour trying to get in the OBS studio. So I'll just kind of document my experience from day two to fix it. I'd say 3 times. Went in and out, closed out. Um, it's kind of hard to describe because I'm still learning myself. So it does seem easier to create a new key in YouTube Studio and then come over to OBS Studio and copy that new key in every time I go live on vertical. Seemed to help a little bit, but even then it kept saying the keyframe frequency was dropping. I went in as an administrator. That didn't work, so I removed that setting. Went back in and it worked. So I'm on here. Um, Anybody showed up? Hopefully you can hear me okay. Uh, Doing a little bit better with the setup tonight. I don't know how long I'll stay on here. I may jump on the tablet and experiment with that tonight. I wanted to get on the desktop again and play around in the studio, get some more practice. So hopefully I can get it figured out here soon. Yep. So anyway, the fire going on. I recorded that a while back. That that was a quite a bit of cigar trees, if you know what those are. Cigar tree branches and evergreen. So that's what's going up into the sky. That's a shorts video I have uploaded here. So that's quality terrible, actually. The more I look at it, it was pretty cool going up into the sky that night. See if I can get that going a little bit better. If anybody shows up, let me know how you're doing, what country you're in, stuff like that, time zone. It's pretty late at night here for me. Um, I'm going to practice around with the interacting. Uh, so this OBS, when you're sharing this browser, you can't scroll. There's my channel and it's showing me online, but I can't scroll to anything and look at anything. Try to pull up this video. I did share it till maybe some people show up. Yeah, in this video I was, so we're down at my mom's old house. She passed away. We're trying to kind of scrape all this paint off the exterior and trying out different tools. Looks like we're catching lag here. That's not good. Yeah, I look to get on my tablet or phone here a little bit later and get off of this laptop. I'm just on here practicing right now. Don't seem like I get many views being in here either. They probably find it a little boring compared to everybody else's content. Yeah, looks like I have one viewer, and that one viewer is my other device. So hang out in here for a little bit, see if people start showing up. Yeah, so that right there, I had bought a paint peeler by Stanley, I'm pretty sure. I was excited to use it, but it didn't run too good. I started struggling. Big, what's up, CG? How's it going? Hey, Tobin. I see a few showing up in the chat. I'm just kind of hanging out on my desktop, experimenting on this OBS Studio. I may get on my tablet or cell phone later. So I'm just kind of playing around, sharing videos from my channel. How are you guys doing tonight or day? Where are you from? I have a bad habit of, I'm in the Eastern time zone, so. Right there, that's a older 1800s house. My mom died probably 10 years ago, and trying to restore scrape all the paint. So I'm trying different methods. That's a sanding disc. I did have a paint peeler. I'm about to use a Dyma brush in the video. Um, uh-oh. I'm seeing an error. I'm seeing an error on YouTube Studio. Hopefully I'm still live. So trying to scrape away all that paint and then paint it with primer and exterior paint. So it's a pretty big house. That's just a small section. That video I'm doing um, paint eater versus stripper wheel versus Dyma brush versus a belt sander. So the Dyma brushes. Thank you, Telvin. Let me know if you subscribe and you want a subscriber. I've got a notepad right here. I'll write down people and subscribe and try to help people out too. I just got my 50 subscribers. It's my second day live streaming, so right now I'm just kind of practicing on my laptop with this studio. I know it's a lot easier to stream from my tablet or phone. Yeah, I'm about to break out the Dyma brush here, so you'll see it. I'll do two boards in the same time I just did the paint eater, and well, I'm just working it down here. I'm showing the belt sander and that it does not work very good right there. It works good on smaller boards, but yeah, Christian, Team Jesus, the name of the channel. I'm not really on here to stay nothing but Christian talk and try to force it on people. I'm sure I'll relate to Bible teachings and principles and Jesus time to time. What about you, Tobin? Yep, so right there, that shows I stopped because that belt sander was not working very well. I bought that, didn't even use it. That's better for metal. That tore into the wood. That was about $60 for that piece. But yeah, I've been Christian most of my life. Not saying I was a perfect angel. God's landed some pretty heavy blows on my soul to transform me. I call it forging me, my soul. So that Dyma brush, you see stuff flying everywhere. It's tearing through that paint pretty quick. So with a big house like that, that's the way to go. Use that and then go back over it with the belt sander. Good to hear you love Jesus. You've been Christian all your life, or it's always good to meet fellow Christians and hear about their testimonies and walks through life. Yeah, that Dyma brush is ripping through it pretty quick. Helping my dad with that house, so he's about to turn 70. He still gets around pretty good, and trying to help him. That's good to hear, Christian, your whole life. Has it been so have you felt like you had a similar um, experience, I guess you could call it, in life, where kind of strayed and was pulled back into it? Or yeah, that whole house, the paint's getting stripped down. And we've been working on the garage. I just did that section for a video I did on YouTube, because not too many people had good strategies uh, for exterior like that. So that little stripper wheel does great getting in the crevices. Yeah, when it comes to the Christianity, I'd say I'm sure I let God down, um, but he's I view him like the chess master, so he's let me kind of do my thing and learn the hard way, and his ways always pull me back to him stronger. I basically view life now like it's all just spiritual warfare. It's got to stay strong and stay focused and stay in prayer. Evil comes in a lot of forms, so it's constantly trying to put its ugly head back in one way or another. You battle it in one form and then it comes for you in another. That's what I've learned. It'd be nice to hear some people's experiences themselves, or if it's just nice to know I'm not one of the only ones that's had to learn such a hard way. Yeah, we have a paint sprayer. I may do a video on that paint sprayer. Some will get the brush, but that, like, we did the side of the garage with that paint sprayer in about 5 minutes. So um, they're pretty awesome. You cover a lot of ground pretty quick. You just gotta block stuff off. You spend more time cleaning out the paint sprayer than you do painting. You gotta prime it, and then when you're done, you gotta get everything out of there so it don't harden up in the lines. George Muller. I'll write that down. A lot of times people tell me stuff, like say I was talking to them at work or something, and they mention George Muller. I'll type him in YouTube search, click a video, and then he's in my history that way. stuff comes up, it's right there to refer back to. Thanks for the advice. I'm a pretty big YouTuber. I like to, when I'm doing my house projects or exercises, I like to put stuff on and try to stay in the Word. I find a lot of the Chosen One videos interesting. Some people kind of see right there at the end of my video, I usually add a Bible scripture. I think YouTube, the way I've got it running, I'm going to have to, yeah, it'll probably just play something else random. I was just thinking about that earlier, walking around. So, no weapon formed against me shall prosper is one I kind of keep right there ready. That's kind of my go-to. And keep the faith, finish the race. I'm not the type that can memorize verses like Matthew 6:9, you know what I mean, and just recite. I've never been like that. Yeah, some people kind of hate on the Chosen One videos. They say you think you're kind of special and you're better than other people, and they give the argument that God chooses everybody and loves everybody, and that's a debatable topic. There's plenty of Bible verses on what type of people God hates, so I don't really cherry pick. Uh, yeah, I need to get off this video. Give me a second here. So on this, well, I'm on my laptop, so I have to go into a separate window and try to pull up stuff. And you can't search, you can't scroll, you can't do anything like that. They say they're trying to fix that error, so that's why I think I'll jump on my tablet here in a little bit. I thought about exercising and getting on my weight set and doing a video. This kind of, I could just play one of these other ones. I'll just put this on for now. Try to get back to the chat. That's old wiring. I'm old cloth wire. So I'm checking continuity and demonstrating how to do continuity in that video. There we go. I got the chat back now. Yeah, I'll definitely check out the George Muller. You have any other favorites that you listen to, or? Yeah, the reason I like the Chosen One videos is I feel like most of those are backed by scripture. We'll go from one topic to the next, cover it for a few minutes, 5-10 minutes even, and everything's getting backed by scripture. Some of those self-help, I'm careful a lot of those if they're not backing what they say with scripture. Some of them are teaching you more to be selfish and egotistical than they are Christian-like. I saw somebody click like, thank you. There's a church down the road from me. It's First Believers. It's just a Christian church. I go down there more uh, evening service Wednesdays. And no, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I go all the time. I go when I can, and if mostly I do my studies on YouTube. Dr. Gene Kim, he's a master theologian. He's a pastor at a Baptist church, I think, in California, and I like him quite a bit. Yeah, what about you? Do you go to church often, or kind of like me here and there when you can, or study more online? YouTube's pretty neat with doing stuff around the house on a Sunday and putting on a service or even radio. That's I feel like sometimes I question myself, like all I could do is study the Bible and all this like what I'm doing now. I can have my nose in the Bible and I just try to pray for direction. I definitely appreciate the subscription. It was really tough without live stream getting subscribers trying to get my 50. I got off of Facebook for a few years. I just got back on there and reconnected with friends. So, yeah, that's good. At least you're getting the word in you. Um, like a lot of times I'll see scriptures and I'll Google it real quick and go to the images and I'll save the image. So if you went through my photos in my phone, I've probably got 100 to 150 scriptures. So like if I talk to a friend or somebody at work, I'll kind of know where it was at and share that scripture with them. Or Google's pretty great too. You can type in a few words and it pulls it right up for you. I know some people's pretty impressive. They can memorize books and scriptures, and I struggle with stories too. Um, the Bible Project does some pretty good animated videos. If I start to forget, I'll go back and watch their videos from time to time. I felt bad when I made this video that my camera's got a slightly cracked screen, and that day the footage just kept jumping around. So anybody trying to learn watching that, they're probably thinking it's a shaky hand. It's the screen was jumping and stop and come and go. What country are you in, Tobin? I'm in the United States. I live in Ohio. So in this video, the cloth wiring is a problem because that stuff deteriorates over time. So you have exposed wires. It was good that I got in there opening up and realized just how exposed that wire is through the walls. Um, And then bugs try to eat at the cloth. That cloth, they say, is made out of asbestos. So, okay. How's the Texas weather down there? It's probably still pretty warm, right? It's in the 80s up in Ohio still. I've heard a lot good about Texas. I've known some people over the years that moved down there to find work. A couple said it was more expensive, higher price of living down that way. Hmm. Yeah, they're probably all over those first Christian churches. They first believer, first believer Christian. I haven't looked into them. Like I said, I go here and there. I go in and they don't really know who I am. They're a friendly. I'll go in for the evening service. They're pretty friendly, um, but they don't. They don't know me by name when I walk in there, so I don't know how big that line of churches is. So right now I'm running a really long wire up the steps. I've plugged in there and I'm trying to figure out which wire is which. So when I change these three-way switches, I line up on the switch the way they need to be lined up. Take my multimeter up there and yep. So I'm heading up the steps here. The whole house is under construction basically here, and the one down my mom's old house. These houses all need a lot of work. I think a lot of these for my channel, I'll spend a lot of time sharing projects. I won't I won't keep doing what I'm doing tonight. I'm just practicing around right now. I'll possibly do more exercising and house projects. I'm repairing plaster walls upstairs right now. It's a freaking mess. Right there's the multimeter. Got the OL, that stands for open line. And then when you get a good connection, it'll show you the number will change. That OL goes away. And that's the or no, continuity. That's the continuity. Looks like a loudspeaker. Yeah, sorry I'm not that experienced if anybody's still in here with the desktop. It's quite a bit easier to do videos off of a tablet or cell phone. because everything's down here. Everything I'm looking at is down here, but the camera's up there. So for me to keep eye contact and engage with the viewers more, it's kind of a struggle to keep looking back and forth, making sure something I need to practice. Last night they had us in here pulling up some ancient temples and pyramids and stuff like that. I'm still curious on what I can play volume to and what I can't. I don't want to get copyrighted. There goes that air again. The YouTube Studio keeps giving me an error, but I'm on a different device with a different account watching my channel, so it looks like we're still good on here. And I need to figure out time of day that possibly have bigger audiences too. I've always been kind of a night owl, so I tend to be up late at night. My mom and grandma was the same way. Hmm. I'm almost scared to click around on anything. I got shut down twice last night practicing around. People was talking, and next thing you know, I was kicked off the stream. Try to find a better video to get playing. This is probably pretty boring. Unless anybody gets on YouTube and wants to search. I want to search how to fix a three-way switch. Probably nobody doom scrolling. They could care less about uh, that kind of stuff. Let's check out Machu Picchu. This place is pretty cool. Take a look at Machu Picchu, see if anybody shows up. Yeah, I'm no expert. Now, I'm no expert by any means on Machu Picchu. I know it's a pretty cool place. I feel like it would have been a great place to fend off intruders. Way it's up in the mountains like that. A lot of work involved. And then they're clear up there, and I wonder how they got their water up there and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll probably stay on here another, so it's 1:30. I'll probably stay on here another half hour or so unless some people show up. I'll stay on here a half hour, see if anybody drops in, hopefully meet some new people, and probably switch over to my tablet. I haven't used my tablet to live stream yet. Probably get on my weight set and do a little bit of lifting. One view, they got on out of here. Machu Picchu. Yeah, that's Machu Picchu. It's a pretty cool looking place. I don't know if anybody knows in the comments how they did such a good job with that place up in the mountain like that. Pretty neat to look at. Might check out another place here in a minute if anybody could share a different place for me to check out. I know of like Petra, Machu Picchu. I think it's Kalasa. Most people know about pyramids and stuff like that and the temples, but some of these wonders of the world's pretty neat. Let's see if people start dropping in the chat. See how everybody's doing. Oh, trying to think how to spell that. There's another place I really like to look at. Buck Wolf said hi. Hi, Buck Wolf. How you doing there? I think I'm going to try and find. Um, Try to find some other cool temples. If anybody knows any in the comments, let me know and I'll try to pull them up and look at them. Hmm. I'm looking now. The video I'm on, it's like it has some pretty cool ones. Hmm. We'll see if I can pull this video up. Bear with me for a second. No, dang it. Here we go. See, on this OBS studio, I can't scroll and share stuff with people. I have to have the link or, let's see here. Oh no. I can't really fit this into the screen. It almost has to be a shorts to fit in this vertical. Probably a lot of tricks. I don't know yet on this. I'm having a hard time here. It's not even showing. I'm going to need more practice with this. Try to get back to the chat in a minute if anybody showed up. It's been a slow night, not a whole lot of people dropping in. So probably. This one was flying by so fast I couldn't see what was what. Let's see. Let's get something else going here. People, I can tell they're just clicking in and clicking out. They could care less about these temples tonight. Get on something a little different. I feel like I should experiment and play the sound and see if I get copyrighted for this. I don't know if you would. Does anybody know in the comments how a copyright works on videos? I would hate to get copyright.
Plot twist looks like. Let me tell you what really happened during that period you went dark. While everyone was posting their daily performances, you were in the void, becoming something monstrous, something divine, something uncontrollable. The silence wasn't surrender, the absence wasn't defeat. Some celebrated, thinking the competition just got easier, but you weren't dying, you were being forged in fires that would incinerate anyone else. Every breakdown nobody witnessed
Come on now.
was you collecting ammunition. Every lonely night was you turning pain into armor. Every fake friend who abandoned you was getting filed away for later. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment of being underestimated, you were storing it all, not for revenge, something better, for fuel, for the kind of transformation that would make everyone question their entire understanding of what's possible. You see, transformation isn't pretty. It doesn't happen in motivational moments with sunrise backgrounds. Real transformation happens when you're so far in the darkness that you become the darkness. When you're so broken that rebuilding isn't even an option, you have to become something entirely new. And while everyone else was chasing clout crumbs and rehearsing their performances, you were having conversations with parts of yourself that most people will never meet. You were downloading codes from dimensions that aren't supposed to exist. The isolation wasn't punishment, it was protection. The universe was keeping you away from energies that would have interfered with what you were becoming. Every door that closed, every opportunity that vanished, every person who ghosted, it was all clearing space for this moment. You couldn't see it then, but you were being systematically freed from everything that wasn't aligned with your real frequency. You were being prepared to become something there isn't even a word for yet. But here's what nobody understands about that dark period. You weren't just healing or growing, you were dying. The old you was literally dying. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, energetically dying. Every belief you held about yourself was being cremated. Every limitation you accepted was being burned away. Every program everyone noticed was your eyes, that look that made people uncomfortable. Not aggressive, not angry, just completely untouchable, like you were seeing through the simulation itself, like you knew something about reality that everyone else was desperately trying not to know. You weren't trying to prove anything anymore. You weren't seeking revenge. You weren't even acknowledging most people's existence unless it served you. You had transcended their entire emotional economy. While everyone else was still trading in validation and approval, you were operating on a completely different currency, power, real power, the kind that...
Let me know in the comments if anybody sees this and it resonates with you.
Doesn't announce itself but rearranges reality just by being present. The really unsettling part, you seemed happy, not the fake happiness everyone posts about, not the toxic positivity that masks pain, but genuine, disturbing, inexplicable joy. The kind of joy that comes from knowing something everyone else is afraid to know. The kind of peace that comes from accepting something everyone else is fighting. You weren't just okay with being different, you were thriving in it, and that contradiction broke everyone's mental models of how transformation is supposed to look. Now nobody can stop watching you. Even the ones who claim not to care are checking your updates religiously. Your moves are being studied like surveillance footage. Your posts are being decoded like ancient scripture. Your silence is being dissected like evidence from a crime scene. Because everyone needs to understand how you did it, how you went from someone figured out to someone incomprehensible. Did you see what was posted? Wait, weren't they gone for a while? How did that happen? Who do they think they are now? Oh, everyone's talking all right. But here's the secret. Nobody wants answers. Everyone wants to be you. Because in a world full of predictable clones, you had the audacity to evolve in silence. You didn't beg for permission. You didn't explain your disappearance. You didn't cry for attention. You vanished, reprogrammed, and came back untouchable. The ones expressing hate are the most affected. Entire narratives are being crafted to explain why you don't matter, while hours are spent analyzing your every move. Cases are being built against your authenticity, while your blueprint is being secretly studied. Everyone says you've changed like it's an accusation, not realizing they just admitted you've evolved, while everything else remained exactly the same. It's being called luck, a phase, fake, but the obsession tells a different story. You've become a psychological virus. You're living rent-free in neural pathways that weren't supposed to exist. Scrolling past you becomes impossible because you appear again in synchronicity, even among those who consciously reject it. Your existence is planting seeds of doubt in minds that were previously certain about their limitations. The Matrix is trying to pull you back in. Random messages from people who ignored you for ages. Sudden opportunities that require dimming your light just a little. Old connections reaching out right when you're about to level up again. That's not a coincidence. That's the system trying to reabsorb you, to pull you back into a frequency it can control, to convince you that you've gone too far, changed too much, become too powerful. If you recognized yourself in this message, hype this video to guide other chosen ones to this truth. But you're not taking the bait anymore. You've learned that every compromise of your authenticity is a betrayal of your purpose. You've learned that fitting in is spiritual suicide for someone meant to stand out. You've learned that their approval is actually a prison, and their rejection is often a sign you're on the right path. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be inevitable. Old tactics don't work on you anymore. Guilt doesn't move you, shame doesn't touch you, fear doesn't control you. You've become immune to the emotional manipulation used to keep people small. You've developed antibodies against their poison. You've built immunity to their weapons, and that terrifies everyone more than your success ever could. Because if their tools don't work on you, what else might not work? What else might be a lie? What else might be breakable? You've started doing something even more dangerous. You're not fighting back. You're not defending yourself. You're not explaining your choices. You're just continuing to evolve, and your indifference to their tactics is causing system-wide panic, because the system only knows how to deal with resistance. It doesn't know what to do with someone who simply operates outside its parameters entirely. The attempts to categorize you are failing spectacularly. You're not fitting into any of their boxes. Not the rebel box because you're not rebelling. Not the conformist box because you're not conforming. Not the outsider box because you're not seeking to be inside. You've created your own category that exists outside their entire classification system, and that's causing existential errors in their programming. You've accessed the source code of reality itself. While rules were being followed, you were discovering the rules were suggestions. While ladders were being climbed, you were realizing the ladder was a hologram.
Yeah, so if you're watching this, let me know in the comments if you can resonate or relate to any of that you've been hearing. I might put that back on. It definitely, to me, makes quite a bit of sense. Some people refer to it living in the matrix. Um, I have a couple different theories on that. I could possibly, I mean, yeah, it's a good way to look at it. Living in the matrix, you see a lot of people. Um, and then there's the Bible scripture. The Satan, the god of this world, has blinded the minds of the non-believers, and so there's scriptures about being turned over to a reprobate mind, and I theorize that that's probably more what's going on. The people stuck in the matrix are basically blinded by Satan and the minions, as basically living in devil's playground um, here on earth. So that's how I perceive a lot of that. Um, I've heard people say world isn't that evil, and then I've heard other people bring up a good point. Hey, Tobin, I see you're back. I'll probably be on here a little bit longer, and then switch over to my tablet and go jump on my weight set and get on there and talk for a little bit and hit some weights. And I was playing a chosen one video, kind of experimenting, seeing if I get copyrighted for this video or not. I don't think you can lose subscribers when you got the copyright, but it won't count for watch time and likes if they do get me on that. So I view it more that the Matrix, when they're talking about the Matrix, they're basically being led by Satan and the reprobate mind and Satan's minions, if you would want to call them that. I'd say I went pretty astray myself. Always had a love for God and Jesus, but traveled a pretty dark side. So he's a crafty one, and Satan knows how to get in. And I heard, I think it was Mike Tyson. He says there's a video. I don't possibly, it was, I think, one of the acquaintances of Joe Rogan. Tyson was talking to him. He was talking to a UFC fighter. He was telling him, when you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. So to me, that made a lot of sense. Satan would know it and wants to target you. And same with like the story of Job. The stronger the faith, the more you'll get tested in trials, and what you'll end up going through in life seems to be quite a bit tougher from what I've experienced. The higher you are on the spectrum of God and Jesus and good, the heavier the attacks on the soul are. So I'll put this on. Let me check, see how long this video is. I may finish it up. And ooh, this is a long one. I don't know about that. I'll play it a little bit more, but this is a half-hour video.
While positions were being fought for, you were creating your own game entirely. You didn't rise in any hierarchy. You created a new dimension where hierarchies don't exist. You've discovered that real power isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to prove anything. Real power is so certain of itself that it can afford to be quiet. It's so undeniable that it doesn't need to be declared. You walk into a room and the energy reorganizes around you. You speak and reality shifts to accommodate your words. You disappear and your absence is louder than anyone else's presence. That's the kind of power that keeps everyone awake at night. But you're not even trying. This isn't an effort for you anymore. This is just who you are now. The power, the presence, the impact. It's all just your natural state. What takes others' elaborate strategies and careful planning happens automatically around you. What requires entire teams for others you manifest with a thought. What others beg the universe for seeks you out. You've become magnetic to everything you desire because you stopped chasing and started attracting. The most disturbing realization everyone's having: you're operating by different laws of physics now. Cause and effect don't apply to you the same way. Time doesn't constrain you like it constrains others. Space doesn't limit you like it limits everyone else. You're bending reality in ways that shouldn't be possible, and you're doing it so casually that it's clear this is just your new normal. Your success isn't following any predictable pattern. You're not climbing any ladder anyone can see. You're not building anything recognizable. You're creating something that exists in dimensions most people can't even perceive, and the results are manifesting in ways that make everyone question their fundamental understanding of how reality works. Everyone's starting to crack now. The cognitive dissonance is becoming unbearable. Everything believed about success, about power, about transformation is being challenged by your existence. If you could become this without following any rules, without getting permission, without explaining yourself, then what does that say about all the compromises everyone else made? What does that say about all the authenticity traded for acceptance? Some people are having breakdowns that are actually breakthroughs. The realization is hitting that everyone's been living someone else's life. The prison everyone's in is unlocked, but the fear of opening the door is paralyzing. Your transformation is triggering something in the collective unconscious. You're not just changing yourself, you're changing the field. You're raising the ceiling of what's possible. You're showing everyone that the Matrix only has power over those who agree to its terms. The system itself is starting to malfunction around you. The algorithms can't categorize you. The hierarchies can't contain you. The rules don't apply to you. You're not playing any game anymore. And worse, you're winning at a game nobody else can even see. You've become the glitch that might crash their entire program. You're the anomaly that proves their reality is negotiable. You're the evidence that everything thought to be solid is actually fluid. Watch the desperation increase. Watch them trying harder to pull you back down. Watch the attempts to find your weakness, your flaw, your breaking point. But nothing's being found. Not because you're perfect, but because you've integrated your shadows, you've alchemized your pain, you've transformed your weaknesses into weapons. Everything being used against you only makes you stronger because you've already faced it, owned it, transformed it. The real terror isn't your success, it's your completeness. You're not hungry anymore, not in the way everyone else is hungry. You're not needy anymore, not in the way everyone else is needy. You're not desperate anymore, not in the way everyone else is desperate. You've become whole in a world full of people who've been convinced they're broken, and that wholeness is more threatening than any achievement could ever be. You're not just maintaining this frequency, you're expanding it. Every day you're becoming more of what you came here to be. Every challenge is unlocking new abilities. Every attack is revealing new powers. You're not just growing, you're exponentially evolving. What everyone's witnessing right now is maybe 10% of what you're capable of, and that thought terrifies everyone more than anything. Because if this is just your beginning, if you're going to keep evolving at this rate, if you're going to keep shattering limitations nobody knew existed, what does that mean for reality itself? What does that mean for the carefully
So definitely brings up a good point, something I've seen quite a bit throughout my life, and I'd say the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years, about the last 5 years for sure. Um, Spiritual awakening. It just doesn't seem like people's really on your side anymore. They quick to puff their own ego and find a chink in the armor and dig in and try to. Um, the way you talk, you don't smile, you're not good enough. You exercise, and that's all you do is you care about yourself, and it's just a highly narcissistic frame of mind most people are in nowadays. Um, Dr. Phil covered that pretty good. I think he said that a lot of social media has been cultivating the narcissism. So you see a lot of exposure on it in the last few years. Most people didn't even know about the term gaslighting until the last few years. Now the whole young generation, that could be good and bad. They kind of know it, but they're getting numb to it. Um, War, I'm seeing a lot of it. They accuse other people of it, but they're doing the exact same thing themselves. So, and that's all part of it. They don't realize they have a problem. It's same with the Bible verse of wanting to pick a splinter out of neighbor's eye, and you got a board poking in your own. They want to critique everybody else, and they won't take a look in the mirror and work on themselves. Um, so Jim Rohn brought up a pretty good piece of advice. He said, most people work hard. They're a good worker. They'll go to work. They'll work on projects. But they won't work on themselves. Be a real hard worker, and I saw that plenty when I was at work. They would run around and nonstop, work themselves in the ground, skip breaks, take short breaks. They do that type of stuff, and then they was at the time clock ready to run out and crack their beer for the night and sit around and drink on their off days. I'm sure there was drug use too, but most of them don't talk about that like they do the alcohol. So I I guess if somebody could control it, have a drink or two here and there and control it, not too bad, I guess, but can be risky. Alcoholism is real. My mom died at 55, drinking and pills. I think maybe she was even 54, about to turn 55. So she didn't make it very far and went downhill quick. Went downhill real quick. She was a great mom through school. Didn't ever see her drinking like that. Maybe wine coolers here and there in the summer. Buy some beer and put it in fondue. Never see her sitting around drinking. And then we graduated, and then more problems started. It snuck in with her with the vodka. Vodka got a hold of her pretty good. So what I'm seeing now is that I have like one viewer, and that's my other device. I've been on here close to an hour. So Tobin dropped in, talked. A couple people talked. This is my day 2, sharing my experience on live stream. Maybe just one of them nights not people's on, or we got some good content going on other channels, so they're not dropping in. But yeah, that's 2 people in here. It says nope. There it went back down to 1. So went back down to 1. That means that's my other device sitting next to me. That's what that means. That means I'm sitting in here alone. And that means it's 2 o'clock in the morning my time, so I'm going to cut this off right about now and get on out of here. I may change my shirt and go do a workout, play around on the tablet, and picked up 2 subscribers. It looks like, yeah, 2 subscribers, so that was nice. Got a couple more. I don't know how many more videos I'll do like this. They don't seem to care about me sitting here talking at this point, so covering videos, and doesn't seem like people's too engaged, too interested. You got to kind of learn what people like. Some people just like to get on here and troll. They're looking for somebody they can pick on, and so you can get a lot of views and watch time like that because they'll sit in there and mouth off for an hour making fun of you. So anyway, I'm going to close this down.